There are two main reasons why people don't want homosexuality to exist. The first is that they just don't like it. They are not used to it, and when they see it, they are disgusted by it. They don't understand how it could be happening, and they don't know how to react to it. Secondly, some people wouldn't mind it, but they sincerely believe that it's a sin and therefore should be banned, like murder. The first reason might be understandable, yet still unacceptable, while the second is just religious ignorance. However, both are in no way reasons to amend our Constitution. One of the main arguments in defense of gays is that they were born that way, that it's not their fault. Better yet, God made them that way. So we need to tolerate them, excuse them, or forgive them, as if to say they are doing something wrong, but we should not be angry with them. We should be understanding and tolerant. And that's very absurd. Nature or choice, there is absolutely nothing wrong with homosexuality. Whether they were born that way, or if they are attracted to the opposite sex and simply choose to enjoy sexual pleasures with members of the same sex. There is nothing about homosexuality that hurts people or stops them from living their lives or forces anyone to participate. It can exist, and those who don't like it don't have to lose any time out of their day. It's as arbitrary as okra or country music. One may not like okra or country music, but one also need not try to eradicate either of the two. Shiny new expensive rims on an old beat-up rusted car are very annoying and disgusting to those who don't see the logic in that. Yet there is no movement to ban things like that because they can exist while everyone else goes about their business. And owners of such items are not in any way forcing the rest of society to get them. But unnecessary rims can be seen as devastating to society since many people who have them usually get them by spending money they very desperately need to feed their families, which leaves them relying on taxpayer dollars for support. Of course, as long as they're heterosexual, no one is telling them how to run their families. Anyone can dislike something strange, foreign, unfamiliar, something they're not accustomed to or don't understand. But that is never a reason to try to ban it at any level, let alone the federal. As for the argument that homosexuality is a sin, there's absolutely nothing any religious person can or should say about it in legal terms. Laws are supposed to protect people. There is no one to protect when two consenting adults, or any number of adults for that matter, get together to enjoy each other. Of course, those who cry sin never cry about pork, working on the Sabbath, disrespecting parents, or anything else in the Bible that's very specifically something that their God has told them not to do. Regardless of whether or not it's a sin, that is a problem only for the religious, not the country. There's no need for a federal ban on gay marriage or activity, and citing God in the Bible is very much unconstitutional. The government has much too much on its plate right now to worry about what the churches, who pay no taxes, want to do with the Constitution. Some of the people who want to suppress homosexuality are very much aware of this, and that's why there are a couple of other arguments that are constructed to sound like grievances. Homosexuals are a detriment to marriage and family. No one who ever says this brings up divorce rates in this country or even the section of the legal industry dedicated to divorce, which puts millions each year into this economy. They don't seem to mind heterosexuals making a mockery of marriage. They don't mind men who beat up their wives and kids. Apparently all that's okay. They want to enforce one man, one woman, but they don't recall that God didn't exactly mind polygamy. People who are just completely unfit for parenting can be allowed to have kids and raise them in homes that don't teach any morals and don't teach any social skills that are required to succeed in this society. They can abuse drugs and alcohol, they can be involved in violent gangs or other criminal activity, they can preach hatred and violence to their kids. But as long as there's a crucifix somewhere on a wall in the house, or praying hands tattooed on someone, they are perfectly accepted and condoned. Heterosexuality, along with a mere hollow proclamation of adherence to a God, seems to be a ticket to living a justified life of trash. But gays, who really want to love one another, contribute to society, and raise kids to be good citizens are apparently too appalling for some people. Gays must be such a menace that religious people overlook the fact that almost all domestic violence happens in religious, heterosexual homes. They overlook the fact that when it comes to gay marriage, They don't really have a standard other than sexual orientation for qualifying individuals for marriage or parenting. Then there's the unnatural accusation. Homosexuality is unnatural. You don't see it in nature. Had this absurd excuse for an argument been true, there would still be no reason to support laws against homosexuality. Any person could look around and not help but see all kinds of acts performed by humans that are not seen in nature. Neon lights, roller coasters, cars, high heels, industry, sewage systems, tools, books, cameras, the internet, sock puppets, bottles, plates, silverware, calendars, ice cream, bread, Snickers bars, Coca-Cola. This list will continue to grow with the population. Homosexuality is actually found all over nature, but even if it was highly unnatural, that would not be any reason to ban it or even resent it. No more than sweet and low are equal, that is. On the other hand, sexual desires and sexual acts are obviously very much natural, but most religions do all they can to suppress those anyway. When arguing in defense of gay marriage, nature is really no argument when you think of necessity. Is gay marriage really a necessary thing to ban in order to protect people? If it was at all a danger, is it a priority? Different states have different levels of severity when dealing with child molesters and rapists, as if to say children and women are valued differently from state to state. We need a strict and severe system for dealing with such criminals on the federal level. We also need a federal amendment that protects people from domestic abuse, which can be and is perpetrated by heterosexual religious people. And there are many countless things that require real reform that affect all Americans that should be addressed immediately. What we don't need is a ban on something just because of the whim of some people who believe in something in the sky that they have never seen.